So we're starting things off with like a live massacre between Darby Allin and Pac. They explain that Pac is 2-0 in their previous matches, and Pac tells the Death Riders he wants to do this by himself, so he sends them to the back. And before Pac can even enter the ring, Darby dives onto him, and they proceed to fight into the crowd and up the steps toward a balcony where, unfortunately, there is no lighting here. First of all, this was a concert theater that looked like a totally different, unique setup that they had. I thought overall it looked really cool, but in this one, like they're fighting here at the top, and like no one in this arena could see them, and you were having a tough time seeing them as the viewer. Didn't stop Darby though from hitting a coffin drop off this balcony in the dark, and they make their way back toward the ringside area where Darby takes a German on the floor. And Pac is about to follow up with a belly-to-belly when he thinks wiser and decides, how hard could a belly-to-belly hurt on the floor when I could suplex this guy onto the steps? And Darby proceeded to take one of the nastiest suplexes that I have ever seen a man take. He full-on launched this dude with a belly-to-belly, and his back just crunched onto the steps. And Bryan Danielson said, quote, "I can't even fathom how much that hurts." And I thought this man was dead, but I have thought that many a time. I don't know. I feel like this is the guy we have the most is Groundhog Day discussions about in pro wrestling. I have nothing more to add to this.
There's always something to add, and I welcome, maybe by year's end, we can have like a compilation of our monthly Darby Allin, what are you doing with your body chats. Honestly, I mean, at this point, it's just
this was the spot, by the way.
Yes, I predicted that. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty standard for a Darby Allin bump. In my opinion.
I don't know. I know if you were to show me a compilation, 10. This probably blends in a lot more, but. Dude, this was just sickening to watch. It was.
We'll just make the top 10 by the year's end. I really don't know. I'm maybe number 10. It might just squeeze in at number 10. But I think they're incredibly inventive, if you want to call them that, because I don't think I've ever seen something like this before. They're completely just like cringeworthy and breathtaking, and at this point, like almost to be expected out of a Darby Allin match. So I hope he's okay.
As he said, he does DDP yoga. Don't worry. Okay. So then the bell finally rings. This is all the pre-match until they finally get in, and Pac takes off his head with a lariat. Danielson says that since he's come back from his ankle injury, Pac has become a better wrestler because he's more selective with what he does. He did not have this to share with Darby Allin since he has come back from being hospitalized recently. He has not been more selective.
Maybe if Darby turned heel.
He's more out of his mind. That would be great. Darby Allin, and he just wins with technical wrestling. Yeah. I would be in favor of that at this point. Pac then is waiting on the turnbuckle as, first of all, he throws out Darby with like a bad luck fall from the ring onto the elevated stage. Danielson calls for a doctor at this point. Whether this was the man being legitimately concerned or amplifying this, we'll give the benefit of the doubt. Darby makes it back at the count of 9 and gives Pac the middle finger. And Pac is sitting on the turnbuckle and just lightly comes off, and his ankle gives out, and Darby pounces and immediately hits a coffin drop to the floor and just needed that one opening. But as he's running into Pac in the corner, he accidentally takes out Paul Turner, hits the Scorpion Deathlock, and Pac taps, but there's no referee, so Yuta shows up with a chair. Yuta is taken out with a death drop. Then one is delivered to Pac, and he wraps the chair around Pac's injured ankle, coffin drop on the ankle, and applies the Scorpion Deathlock, and Pac taps at 11 minutes and 3 seconds. Bryan Danielson, who had some great quotes in this, explains how now Darby has defeated all the Death Riders. Quote, "Let's see if this brings him peace." It will not. It will not bring him peace.
He's not wrestling after this. He's just gonna,
Yes. He has reached the summit again.
Yeah. This match was spectacular, and it's almost hard to believe watching this match that Darby Allin was pulled out of the Continental Classic like about a month ago due to not being cleared, because he's shown like absolutely zero signs of somebody who suffered any sort of like injury, and the bumps he takes just in the middle of a TV match, I think would be among like the riskiest in many wrestlers' careers. Obviously, like that belly to belly throw and that awesome bomb onto the ramp, like that, we almost forget about it by the end of the, talking about this match. But 100%. That was crazy too.
Like that's the thing is like all of these things will kind of just blend into the Darby just mirage of punishment.
But to me, that's like at this point in the sort of conversation, like he needs to do these things. Okay, he doesn't have to because he's famous enough. But if we are to talk about a Darby Allin match, he's kind of built up our expectations to expect these sort of things, right? And so he probably feels like it's necessary. It's likely not.
It's what's gotten this guy as over as he has been this. And like you're right. Like if he just turned a 180 here,
we'd say this was an okay match, but it wasn't the best Darby Allin match that we've seen, right? Like something like that. And I respect a performer for not wanting to like not give the best effort that he can give. I hope that Yoga's like his post-match routine must be something else, okay, for him to be able to recover from this sort of thing. Pac looked great here. The booking was pretty interesting for Pac, given that like he told the Death Riders not to back him up, even though Yuta did. So was that a ruse, or was that Yuta like not listening to Pac? Don't know how you read that. But then he also had like a sympathetic ankle injury in the middle of all of this. Now that could have just been a way to protect Pac's credibility. But I also found it interesting.
I really like that spot because they like the announcers had teed it up. So as soon as he did that, like you understood immediately like the injury. Like they set that up really well, and it was like this opening because this match was like 90% Pac up until that spot where he was just demolishing Darby.
I guess like in the greater story of the Death Riders, like this booking made me like question whether or not they were actually trying to tease a babyface turn for Pac, which would mean a babyface turn for the entire Death Riders, or if this was just a way to protect Pac in the loss while retaining his, heel momentum. In either case, I thought this was unique in that like, we often thought Pac or discussed Pac as the potential person to replace Jon Moxley as the leader of the Death Riders. But if you're going to do that, I don't know if you would have had him lose to Darby Allin in like pretty clean fashion, very clean fashion, having him tap out, like probably the cleanest way, you could lose to somebody. So it seems like they're at least throwing us off of that scent. And yeah, so instead Darby has conquered every Death Rider. And well, what exactly do you think is next?
Now he's got to go through the Don Callis family.
I see. Yes.
That's his 2026-27.
Yeah. It's I find it all interesting, and I think those things are still very much at play. The fact that the Death Riders could all be turning babyface at the same time, or they could turn on Moxley, but it feels less likely that Pac would be the leader coming off of something like this.
Could you see anything where, given like the shift in Moxley and even Pac here, like adopting kind of Moxley's like kind of ethos here of like wanting to just go out there. He doesn't want run-ins like in the Continental
and having
Classic.
A bad ankle.
Like I think for sure we're getting the Death Riders with the Don Callis family, and just because of a lack of options, like the title picture is all rammed with guys. Could Darby fight alongside the Death Riders against them? I know it's not the most appealing move for Darby, but I off the top of my head, I don't know where you're going with Darby.
Yeah, could Darby Allin be the new leader of the Death Riders? I mean, that's been suggested in the past too, but not as I can't see him turning heel. Like it's
no. I'm saying like this is more like a babyface shift for the Death Riders. That at least for this Don Callis family program is like they should be in a pseudo babyface like way. I don't want them to do a whole shift, but what we've seen of late from Moxley.
I was struggling to think about why you would have Darby Allin like basically announce and spotlight the fact that he's cleared the Death Riders. He's beaten this Death Riders video game. Maybe other than for the reason of him like taking some sort of leadership role within the Death Riders, or at least like going to battle with them as, the sort of like the person who's better than all of them, right? So yeah, I could certainly see that possibility, and that would also mean the Death Riders as a whole would be turning babyface. But good luck with Wheeler Yuta. I don't know how you're going to manage to achieve that.
Throughout the month of January, you have the chance to lock in your subscription at the Post Wrestling Cafe for all of 2026 before the price increase takes effect February the 1st. Simply sign up before February 1st and you will lock in that price all year long. If that's not enough, this month we have the annual Best and Worst of show as we get together with the Poison Rana crew to look back at 2025. We're also doing live watch-alongs of the Royal Rumbles from 1990 and 1995 with Brandon from New Jersey, a retrospective on the Tanahashi-Okada rivalry, plus reaction to Wrestle Kingdom 20, a review of TNA's debut on AMC, and much more, including TNA Genesis, UFC 324. It's all found at postwrestlingcafe.com.